centuries, the house abroad have wielded unprecedented dominance, blending familial solidarity and relentless profit-seeking. From modest roots, they raised to influence international finance, wars, and politics, and become the most formidable banking dynasty of their age. The Rothschild banking dynasty has an unlikely origin, an 18th century ghetto in Frankfurt, Germany. Like many of his time, Mayer Amschel Rothschild can't own land or farm due to his race, so he followed his family path and became a textile trader. The ghetto were not very encouraging. Southville has of second-hand clothes and soy household goods into the alley. Frankfurters are buried from farming, from handicraft, even from dealing in noble goods such as weapons, zinc, or fresh food. Maple quickly grows discounted with trading textile and become easier to explore other ventures, ones that offer higher profit margins. He soon discovered that trading gold coins and antiques could be much more lucrative. Mayer Rothschild quickly established himself as a trader and uncovered a brilliant strategy known today as front running. He worked as a call agent, much like today's stockbrokers. His main clients were Prince William of his castle. Whenever William wanted to purchase gold coins, he could ask Mayer Rothschild to obtain them from the market. What Rothschild did was this: he would first buy the coins using borrowed money, then sell them to Prince William, effectively acting as both the buyer and the seller. This practice is known as front running in modern terms. In doing so, he profited high one from the 8% commission fee and also from front running Prince William by 1782. Mayer Rothschild has amassed a colossal fortune and earned the position as an investment manager for Prince William's vast wealth. But for Mayer Rothschild is just the beginning. To truly create a strong footing in the world of finance, it must evolve into a bank. Often when traders and call agents accumulated significant wealth through their financial dealings, this style creates recognition and respectability. Transitioning into banking was a way to gain legitimacy and credibility. Getting into banking proved generous for Mayer. By the close of 1700s, he is the richest man in Frankfurt, but still for Mayer Rothschild is enough. He envisions a legacy beyond wealth, a family dynasty that stands the test of time. A lasting nation and empire, to me, is a way what's next, and I think that's what drives most very successful people. It's never about the money. That's a way of keeping score. It's about the money. That's a way of keeping score. It's about achievement and it's about winning a game and it's about upping the ante. To do that, he knows he needs to think bigger than just Frankfurt or even Russia. To expand, he dispatched 4 of his 5 sons to the great capitals of Europe: Vienna, Naples, Paris, and the jewel of the Empire, London. In the early 1800s, Great Britain stands as a global superpower with a vast empire across continents. With the British Royal Navy unmatched, the seas are theirs. The Industrial Revolution is transforming the economy, making Britain an industrial and manufacturing powerhouse. The financial sector centers in London is robust. With the establishment of the Bank of England in 1694, then it became a global financial center. Mayer Rothschild has built a thriving banking business in Frankfurt, but he realized to sustain the long-term prosperity in the family, he needs to expand to different major cities in Europe, including sending her son to London, England. His name is Nathan Rothschild. For Nathan Rothschild, the pressure is immense. He felt compelled to demonstrate to his father that he is equally capable of upholding the family legacy. Nathan was a fiery, ambitious, and competitive man, as quick to take offense as to give it in his business dealing. With 20,000 euro, his father gave him as investment. Nathan plans to maximize it as quickly as possible by any means necessary. In the early 1800s, the London textile industry saw significant growth. This industry was marked by many small-scale workshops and factories that produce many different types of textile from cotton to silk. As I see an opportunity to capitalize on this growth while maximizing profits. He managed to create three sources of profit from the textile industry. According to his own account, Nathan was successful in his early years. I soon found that three for profit. The raw materials, drying, and the manufacturing. I said to the manufacturers, I will supply you with material and dye, and you will supply me with manufactured goods. So I got three profits instead of one, and I could sell goods cheaper than anybody. In a short time, I made my 20,000 euro into 60,000 euro to ensure consistent revenues. Nathan also ventured into the lucrative realm of smuggling textile and precious metal. He became, in a word, a smuggler. By 1808, Nathan had earned a reputation as a man who had, thanks to his superiors' management, judgment, foresight, and connections, regularly succeeded in getting goods to the continent. Within just a few years of introducing his business in London, Nathan reports impressive gross sale of 800,000 euro. Now, with substantial capital at hand, Nathan says he signed on transforming his enterprise into a bank. He plans to build it to be bigger than his father's bank in Frankfurt by 1812. Mayer Amschel Rothschild how literature rapidly is realized that death is inevitable, and to ensure the house of Rothschild remain prosperous, he urged his sons to put their family unity first and above all. Family unity first and above all. This is one of the foundations for the long-standing success of Rothschild Dynasty. Their strong bond as a family and their unique way of doing business are reasons they are still successful today. As the Rothschild sons established their banking house in different cities, Europe entered an age of growth set to span over a century. Whereas the 18th century growth has tended to be limited, has tended to end in old schools where people sat down and negotiated. Negotiated were the words of the 19th century. At least some of them became increasingly ideological, increasingly difficult to stop. Thanks to its sophisticated finance system, the United Kingdom waged 6 wars in the century without facing an economic collapse. Today we live in a in a world dominated by a single superpower, the United States. Indeed, it sometimes seems a little bit if we have become part of American empire. That Britain was the world's superpower and more than 2 centuries. It's exerting even more power beyond her borders than the U.S. does today. By 1840, the Duke of Wellington wins battle after battle against Napoleon and plans to bring the fight to France. But while in France, Wellington realized the need for a significant amount of French funds for expenses. Wellington's campaign was being fought at a time of unparalleled fiscal overstress. In protracted campaigns like Wellington's in the Iberian Peninsula, more sophisticated methods of procurement were necessary. Overall, it was essential to be able to purchase supplies and to pay troops. Let us see this as a one in a lifetime opportunity. If he can meet this challenging demand, it can elevate his bank through unprecedented heights, and subsequently made what he had done so easy. When it was settled in London, the East India Company had £800,000 worth of gold to sell. I went to the sale and bought it all. I knew the Duke of Wellington must have it. I had bought a great many of his bills at a discount. The government sent for me and said they must have it. When they got it, they did not know how to get it through Portugal. I understood on that and I sent it to France. And that was the best business I ever did. By the mid-1800s, as Europe turned into a hotbed of war, its countries increasingly needs the foreign exchange market. To start a war, you could need money. If you lose a war, you often have to pay the other side. For the house of Rothschild, wars become a profitable business. The network of banking house provides a unique competitive advantage. Back then, the modern banking system was just starting, so they could charge high fees, sometimes as much as 8% for providing currency exchange service, but revenue from commission are just a small part of their income source. The Rothschild understand that in the world of finance, information is everything and speed is king. They were one of the earliest successful forex traders, using private carriers and even leveraging well-trained horse and peers. The Rothschilds stayed step ahead of the competitors. As a result, currency speculation became their most profitable business. The profit for the London house keeps rolling in, and Nathan Rothschild became the richest man in the world. But even the most powerful man in finance can't defeat the ultimate enemy. On July 28, 1836, the unexpected happens. Nathan Rothschild, the wealthiest man in the world, died at the age of 15 age. This was surprising because Rothschild family was known for living long. In fact, when Nathan died, his mother was still alive and she lived to be over 90 years old. The London Times gathers itself up for one of its rare superlatives, the death of Nathan Mayer Rothschild. An editor say it is one of the most important events for the city and perhaps for Europe in a long time. An operation comparable to his have existed in Europe to this time. Nathan Rothschild's death has a hard impact on the market, but the House of Rothschild lived on without him. Since the decentralized banking systems they have created, The bank's Rothschild family continued to try, but now they need a new leader. Nathan Rothschild's youngest brother, James Rothschild in Paris, became the commander-in-chief of the family dynasty. For James, the pressure of being a Rothschild is immense. While government bonds and war financing remain profitable business for their family, the competition saturates the playing field, eating away at their profit margin. To bring his family new glory, he looked for a new age. Jonathan's younger brother, James, was markedly less submissive to his will than the other three. The younger brother was intellectually and temperamental Nathan's equal. He also had the advantage of a better schooling. Even in acknowledging Nathan's leadership, James was less than differential. James Rothschild set his sights on a new burgeoning industry, the railroads. In the early 1800s, Europe witnesses rapid railroad expansion, starting with England's Stockton, Darlington line in 1825. Railroads revolutionized transportation, forced industrial growth in hundreds and reshaped landscapes, ultimately connecting major European cities and regions. Throughout the 1840s, the Rothschild provided financing for many railway ventures, reaping substantial profit from commissions and trading railroad bonds and stocks. Rothschild were clever with their money. They often used other people's money to reduce their own risk. James Rothschild played a big part in what were known as syndicates in France during this time. By now, the Rothschilds are more than bankers, but the bank remained at the heart of the family business and generates the funds that are then invested in assets that are in increasing demand. Methodology, meaning, and above all, rewards. What profit for the house abroad tribe source? Average people struggle to make ends meet. The income disparity between the rich and the poor remains as pronounced as ever. The industrialists of that period of this time are people who are out for themselves to make large fortunes as quickly as possible, even if it means pressing in envelope of what they have to do after suffering consecutive wartime defeats. By the 1840s, the French government finds itself in debt, and as a result, the nation's economy teeters on the brink, leading the French populace to grow increasingly resentful of both the government and the financiers banking them. Within days, the Rothschild banking in France near its breaking point. At the head of the French bank, James is desperate to save his institution. He turns to his nephew in London, Lionel, the son of Nathan Rothschild, for assistance. The French Revolution brought their house in Vienna and Paris to the brink of insolvency, obliging the other in London to bail them out. By then, the Rothschild family's banking business has been around for almost 2 generations. For Lionel, bailing out his uncle's branch posed a significant risk and a potential loss. However, to him, family annuity ranks above all else. His London bank arranged a loan, saving his uncle's bank from collapse, but it doesn't stop there. Lionel Rothschild believed in prioritizing his family, but he also feels compelled to uplift his people. Lionel thinks that to further the cause of eliminating prejudice against people of his ethnic city. It's beneficial to enter governments. Lionel had a lot of money, so he used money to buy a lot of press to help him get elected. By the middle of the 19th century, most of the restrictions on British jobs had been done away with. The Commons passed a bill permitting the seating of a Jew in August 1847. Lionel the Rothschild mounted the hosting as Liberal candidate for the City of London. Lionel was elected. There abruptly, to be fully sworn in as a member of the Commons, he would have to recite an oath to the Holy Scripture. But Lionel refused and insisted he will swear only on the Old Testament. Becoming part of the government is monumental for the House of Rothschild. Extreme Rothschild age, Lionel gradually assumes the role of family's patriarch. But what Lionel doesn't realize is that, though the House of Rothschild reigns supreme in Europe, a new banking empire emerged, poised to challenge their dominance. The early success of Rothschild is largely attributed to information, intelligence, and knowledge. Nowadays, learning anything is much easier as we have access to vast resources alive. One of the best ways to learn much data science and computer science interactively is with Brilliance. Brilliance is fantastic because it offers more than online learning. It's interactive, visually engaging, and perfect for busy individuals. Complex topics are broken down into bite-sized lessons, making it easy to master concept with just 15 minutes of practice a day. Recently, I have been diving into their cryptocurrency course, learning about blockchains, and it helped me get a better understanding of crypto projects and whether they are worth investing in. Brilliant offers interactive puzzle, riddles, and games, allowing you to enjoy the learning process without having to simply memorize facts. They expand their course with new content monthly, including how large language models work, a course designed to help people stay ahead of the AI wave. Additionally, you get to learn practical skills that can potentially enhance your professional career for a lifetime. Visit Brilliant Finance or click the link in the description for a 30 days free trial. The first 200 customers will receive a 20% discount on their annual premium subscription. Thank you. Blame Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Julius Morgan is a British banker of the merchant banking firm Job Peabody and Arm Company by 1864. Upon Peabody's retirement, Julius took control of the firm. Julius Morgan always had a gravely mature hair. He was the sort of prematurely middle-aged young man all financiers found consoling. He was solemn and businesslike and always master of his emotions. Julius Morgan understands that to play in the big leagues, he needs to venture into government financing. And for a banker in the 1800s, nothing presents more opportunities than worse. In 1867, France tried to purchase Luxembourg from the Netherlands. However, Russia opposed the move, leading to rising tension. The Chancellor of Prussia, the notoriously ruthless military man Otto von Bismarck, waits for an opportunity to trick. On July 19, 1870, Napoleon III declared war on Russia. This declaration aligned perfectly with Bismarck's aspiration for a war that would further German unification under Prussian leadership. From the very beginning, Bismarck had a quiet temperament, and it was very difficult for him to read in it. He had three to sides: a clear intellect and tremendous precision. It was the combination of his quietness and his intelligence that drew him to escapade, incapacity, drunken expense, or duels or fancy. Bismarck always wanted to fans to prove his manliness. I see him as reachable. Having financed growth for a century, the House of Rothschild possessed an uncanny ability to predict if a country will win or lose. They have no faith in France to defeat the formidable Otto Bismarck, and it will not make sense to lend money to France. One major banking house like Rothschild and Boring avoid lending money to the French government. Julius Morgan sees this as the opportunity of a lifetime. It doesn't matter to him if France can win the war. What's crucial is if France can repay the loan. He quickly understands that even if France loses, the nation's economic resilience ensures their capability to pay back the loan. On the French politics were very sharply at the time. The French economy was very diversified, and more importantly, it had a very efficient tax collection system. Through his syndicate, Julius Morgan raised over 10 million pounds for the French army. As an American banker, he also granted the French government access to purchase American arms. The war resulted in a decisive German victory. The conflict ended with the Treaty of Frankfurt first in 1871, leading to significant territorial loss for France and the proclamation of the German Empire in the whole of Myers at the Palace of Versailles. When the war ended, the defeat France didn't news on alone, as Bismarck predicted. Instead, they repaid the bonds in 1873. As a result, Julius Morgan was away with a fortune from this windfall. The lawyer netted him a whopping £105 million. This vastly augmented his firm's capital and propelled him into the upper ranks of government financing, and now the House of Morgan had become a formidable force in finance. While Julius Morgan tried to establish his banking dynasty, the House of Rothschild faced mounting challenges. Following the death of James Rothschild in 1868, the younger generation of Rothschilds became increasingly fragmented. To rebuild their prestige, they looked beyond Europe, investing heavily overseas, allocating 37% of their portfolio to Egypt and financing Indian railroads. But to truly recapture their past success, they need a more expensive marketplace at all empire fate. A new empire emerges, bigger and more powerful than any of the world has ever seen. From the 1850s through the 1870s, America experienced significant growth. propelled by the Industrial Revolution, westward expansions, and the completion of the transcontinental railroad in 1869. The area witnessed the ascent of industrial magnets, Cornelius Vanderbilt range in railroads, and through Carnegie in steel and John D. Rockefeller in oil, culminating in the formation of Standard Oil. These tycoons transformed American business, introducing innovations and fresh organizational structure. The story of America isn't just the story of the pastures that have built the democracy. The reason the United States is the leading economy in the world is come of the work of entrepreneurs who created entire industries that propelled the United States to be the leader of the free world. For years, the Rothschild underestimated America, deeming it a land of madmen. But seeing the rise of the House of Morgan and Wall Street emergency as the new global financial hub, the House of Rothschild started to pursue more business opportunities, announcing present better opportunities than when three in ballot on the streets. For America, that they arrived on May 9, 1893, following decades of a booming railroad market, the industry plagued by overexpansion and overbuilding suddenly collapsed. The result is one of the worst depressions in history. The panic of 1893. The President Grover Cleveland is determined to maintain the gold standards and refuse to engage in expansionary fiscal policies such as tax cuts and increased government spending. Back then, the US dollar was not the main global currency. The British powers, President Cleveland felt that to maintain the credibility of the US government, he must maintain the convertibility of the dollar to gold. The Cleveland government is running dangerously low on gold reserve, so he calls on Pierpont Morgan for assistance. Around this time in the late 1800s, Julius Morgan has passed away in a traffic accident, making Pierpont Morgan the head of House of Morgan. The federal government is day away from depleting its gold reserve. Morgan understands this outcome will be disastrous for the young country and for his own banking empire, and he knows there is only one family with access to a vast amount of gold that can help the federal government, the House of Rothschild. For the last 3 decades, the Rothschild have been strategically investing in mining operations for gold and silver. Their interest in gold mining grew rapidly. Moreover, many of the bonds bond issues handled by the Rothschild in this period were linked to the recipient's adoption of the gold standards. Morgan raised $65 million by issuing government bonds and used money to negotiate with the Rothschilds, purchasing 3.5 million ounces of gold for the fest. Back then, banks really like doing business with the government. Why? Because government usually pay back their debt and they can always collect more tax if needed. The collaboration of Morgan and Rothschild make their bond offering one of the most sought after investment. The gold bonds sell out in 30 minutes when offered to the public. America enters the world scene as a new empire, one that rivals any in the history of the world. A superpower, while the Rothschild successfully expanded their business reach in America and throughout the world by the late 1800s and early 1900s. The old empire in Europe had for another major struggle. By the early 1900s, tensions among European powers reached a boiling point, followed by imperial rivalry, military build-ups, and complex alliances. While the post-war trade business with potential class trouble, the House abroad tried to see an opportunity to capitalize on the growing tension. The head of the London Rothschild Bank is Dynasty Rothschild. He advocates for the British government to expand its naval capabilities. So many European countries start to spend more on their militaries. For that, they needed money. What Rothschild don't realize is that the growth that is about to unfold will be more brutal and deadly than any they have ever encountered before. Following the assassination of Ansbach from Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary, Europe plunged once again into full-blown war. Look at Cypriot. Cyprians are saying we don't want to be ruled by the Austria, the Hungarian Empire, such an authoritarian imperialistic structure. We are our own country. It's the Cyprian who assassinated Saint Richard Ferdinand and his wife. So, and of course, that's trial that begins the whole conflict. The official stress warfare, new whispery, and result in massive casualties with an estimated 10 million soldiers and 7 million civilian deaths. For the first time, members of the Rothschild family allied with opposing sides. Though the Rothschilds survived World War I and even profit from world financing, the scale of operation is overshadowed by the rising banking dynasty in America. The House of Morgan, now led by Pale Morgan's sons, Jack Morgan. The Morgan Bank served as the key financier for the U.S. government during World War I, raising funds through the war bonds and extending crucial loans to European allies. In 1935, the Jacques Chronicle ventured to succeed, with perhaps a hint of belief that the Rothschilds' heyday was waning. The most intellectually gifted of next generation of Rothschild men turned his back on the family business. After World War I, the House of Rothschild finds itself in disaster, and different banking divisions pursue various objectives and become more integrated into the country where they operate. At the same time, Jews serve in anti-Semitic sentiment driven by economic hardships and political unrest. The Rothschild family, as prominent Swiss banker, faced heightened scrutiny and hostility in Germany following its defeat. The nation endured one of its most severe economic downturns. Mikhail later harnesses the energy of the German public and swiftly rise to the position of chancellor. His rise to power spelled trouble for the House of Rothschild, especially the German banking branches. In 1939, just 21 years after the end of World War I, the biggest war in human history erupted. In the spring of 1940, Hitler secured victory after victory. Denmark and Norway quickly fell under occupation. The German army swept across the Netherlands and Belgium. Europe marked a desperate stand in France, but is no match for German armor and air power. And by June, Hitler is Paris. Britain is the German next target. If Hitler conquered Europe. The House abroad tried will face certain dismay, while some Rothschild members engaged in resistance movement against the Nazi occupation. Many flee Europe to escape persecution, seeking asylum in several countries. Regiment tanks drove into Paris in 1940. France Rothschild were in great peril. The older ones, Jerome, Robert, and Maurice, managed to escape the end up by Central Pass and stop in the United States or England. As a result, the family enjoyed significant financial and personal loss as their estates are seized and properties confiscated. General Eisenhower informed me that the force of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flag of freedom fly all over Europe. As the Rothschild Dynasty became increasingly fragmented, and Rothschild of London take on the challenge of rebuilding and carving out its own direction. For Edward Rothschild and Son, their core competitive advantage remained government financing. His had also been a core strategy of the Rothschild to work closely with governments to finance big projects. The Rothschilds believed that as long as they had good relationship with governments of strong countries, their business will always do well rather than aiming for expansion. Rothschild preserved its business model as a private club, financing elite while evading public scrutiny. By the 1970s, official media revealed 6 Rothschild assistants, including Robert Maxwell. Maxwell served in the British Army during World War II. After the war, he worked for British intelligence and later entered the publishing industry. In the 1950s and 1960s, Maxwell acquired several British publishing companies, including Pergamon Press and Moral Group newspaper. He had a traumatic beginning to his life as a child. Most of his family were killed out in the Holocaust. I think the experience of extreme poverty and great hardships carried him for life. Not being poor became an absolute imperative, but to expand his business empire, he will need money. What's money? The time only powerhouse like Rothschild can provide. In the 1980s, Maxwell's investors look like they are doing well, but trouble is brewing inside and out. Rothschild Lord Victor Rothschild and his son Jacob are on one side, fighting with their cousin, Sir Evelyn the Rothschild around the time. The banking world was experiencing a loss. Big banks were acquiring small ones, making them mega banks, and new ways of making money, like derivatives and options, came up in the 1980s. These new tools help banks make more money and also help them manage risk better. Jacob Rothschild believed the bank must adapt to modern corporate strategies and pursue aggressive expansion. So, Evelyn, who leads Edward Rothschild and Sons, assessed that modernizing ownership structure risks the family's absolute control. He insists Rothschild Bank must always be wholly owned by the Rothschild, even if it demands short-term sacrifice. But family drama soon become their least concern. A massive scandal erupted, threatening the Rothschild's reputation. The millionaire newspaper publisher Robert Maxwell is dead. He disappeared overboard from his private yacht this morning while cruising off the Canary Islands. In the early 1990 revolutions, Freitas Maxwell misappropriated hundreds of millions from his employees' pension funds to sustain his enterprise and mysterious life. I feel that I have wrestled with this a lot. I feel that possibly the line between suicide and accidents is less clear-cut than we tend to assume. Maxwell iterate that in 1991, after vanishing from his act near the Canary Islands, spurred investigations into his financial misdeeds, while the Rothschild involvement in Maxwell's demise remained unclear. The event blasphemed their reputation. Before self-event, the Rothschild scandal reaffirmed his belief about the bank's need for discretion and privacy, but an Rothschild is still trustee of the extensive Rothschild legacy by 2023. The Rothschild family diversified its interests across multiple sectors, extending beyond traditional banking. Their enterprise encompassed investment banking, wealth and asset management, private equity, and philanthropy. Traditional banking establishments in Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, London, and Naples. Once the bedrock of the Rothschild banking dynasty have adapted to the evolving financial landscape. While banking is still central, the family's influence now permits a wide range of financial services. Throughout history, the Rothschild family was often not hesitant about making more money, but when it comes to maintaining family relationships, they were able to let go of those opportunities. This kind of long-term view is both respected and scary.